Welcome back to the 2023 Las Vegas Challenge presented by Innova Disc Golf. We are on the Innova course for the MPO Round 4 Chase Card. This is the back nine from Gatekeeper Media. I'm Andrew Fish, joined here by Nathan Queen.
Yes, and we got to watch some pretty hot starts from a couple players. Paul McBeth and Drew Gibson shooting 6 down and 7 down on that front nine, trying to give themselves a chance to take this down. Other two players, Garrett Gurthie and Andrew Presnell, still giving it a fighting chance. Garrett with the clean front nine. Andrew Presnell just the one bogey. But as you see here, Kevin Jones still holding on to that lead just by one stroke at the moment.
Yeah, but a lot of positive momentum out there and a lot at stake here. This entire season all about getting to the Pro Tour Championship. On hole 10, we have a par 4. It's a tee shot where you have to play through a gap. There's a bunker on the right side near the 500-foot mark, and then a green left, OB path right, and some hazard long. Definitely a scoring hole, particularly with this tailwind. Gibson taking an extra moment. And this is a lot of power. Real low, not letting the wind do crazy things to it, but full hovercraft mode enabled.
Oh, wow, and that bunker is pretty far down there. I'd say close to that 500-foot mark.
And Drew still has plenty of speed as he carries past it. Garrett grabs one branch on the left side, and that takes off a lot of speed. He's still out there near 400 feet, perhaps, but going to be tucked behind a tree.
Yeah, Presnell getting a nice flat shot out. Going to be heading towards the middle of the fairway. Should be in a good position to approach the basket from there.
And McBeth starts a little more right than everybody else. Plenty of glide. That does need to get left. And in a hurry. But he finds the left edge of that sand trap. He will be throwing 3 from the hazard. Garrett kind of a weird
tried
stance,
to climb out of there.
Standstill driver.
And suspenseful roll there, but ends up almost in the same spot it started in, just a little bit lower on the hill.
Presnell hanging it pretty far wide to the right and never really fights back up the hill for him. He finds the hazard on the backside. This is kind of a clinic from McBeth. He throws it low with some speed at the hill. It climbs and just nestles perfectly by the bucket.
Yeah, but that par is still not what he's going to be looking for, as this did play as the easiest hole on the course today. With 69% of the field, or 34 players, carding the birdie. 34 out of 49, since we did have that cut after the third round yesterday.
Drew with a confident flat putt, even into that stiff headwind. We've seen Drew be very dangerous when his putter is on. In the past, and as noted, he's the defending champion of the Las Vegas Challenge. And Presnell sticks it for his 5.
bring us into hole 11, 357-foot par 3. Got some OB added this year. Everything right of that ditch or water you see is going to be OB. OB down the left side and behind it. Kind of a tricky shot to only be 357. Seems to bring in a little bit more trouble than you would think.
Gibson plays the hyzer flip mid-range and weighted perfectly. He gets himself a 20-25 footer. Basket has the hint of elevation around it, and then certain angles are a little bit blocked off by low-hanging branches. Gurthie with a rock. Perhaps a good tree stop, also inside the circle.
Yeah, it did seem to be moving pretty quickly. Oh, and this is going right. And it is going to find that out of bounds. And kind of hit a lull there once he had that mishap on 9 going into that bunker.
Yeah, Paul's going to have to get that momentum back if he wants to make a move and chase this win. You could hear kind of oh, wow. What an ambitious run. He's going to tap in a 4. You could hear Paul be a little surprised off the tee. And actually in round 2, you and I were both a little surprised at how much fight that disc had to get back from an Anheuser angle.
Right.
This time, no such luck. But Garrett in for his birdie.
Yeah, and we can't overlook Presnell's drive. He got that drone up there and just hit the bricks there at the bottom. He's trying to get his momentum back on track.
Yeah, that's ideal. Drew gets his birdie. Nathan, does it get you started like when you have a tap-in birdie or two in your round?
Oh, it definitely makes you feel good. And like I was talking about a little bit yesterday, a lot of mental game involved here. So if you can feel good, definitely a good way to get you started on a nice birdie streak. Or in some cases, even getting the pars that you plan to get. Just feeling good makes for good golf.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, the lower stress, the better. Hole 12, we're going to play into a really, really hard headwind. 363, there's a green to the left and out-of-bounds path to the right. I think with the direction of this wind, it needs to be a low-driven shot with a hint of nose up to finish left. I think this is a Firebird or something similar out of Drew. But the headwind doesn't quite give that the speed it needs, so he's going to be looking downhill headwind from 45 or so.
Yeah, with a little bit of those low ceiling stragglers like we had on hole 10.
Hopefully she stayed safe.
Oh, and quite early there from Garrett. I have, as a left-handed player, I take a bit of a different gap on this hole, so I've been over where he's at. As long as he's in front of those trees, he's going to have an open look towards the pin, but not the best position to be in.
Presnell, pretty nose up, not really thrown driven. And he's able to find a little landing strip between the bunker and a green. Stays safe, though. This is more what you want, but even that's going to come up low and short. Not able to get the forward skip.
Yeah, there's something about this hole that's always just made it seem to play a bit longer than it is. And I don't know if it's the headwind mixed with the OB cart path right behind it, but you see a lot of players come up short here.
Yeah, I haven't personally used a rangefinder on it, but I wouldn't be surprised if it came out and said 463. Like, emotionally, it's a 463. Really good bids by both McBeth and Presnell, coming up just a touch short.
See if Drew can get it just a bit higher. And yes, he can. Get that. 4 birdies in a row right now.
Love the muted little fist pump. That's a fist pump for himself. He doesn't need the crowd right now. He is like very dialed.
My name's Garrett Gurthie. You might know me as Double G. If you're looking to find me on Instagram, you can find me under Garrett Gurthie. If you're on Facebook, Garrett Gurthie as well. If you're looking to find Double G Craft Jerky, head on over to doublegjerky.com. We've got 8 different flavors. We're here to support the juniors and the pros. So if you're looking to grab a nice bag snack, head on over to Double G Craft Jerky.
I just think the plastic is very premium. It's a high quality material. The way the disc feels in my hand.
I think it's the quality of plastic.
It's unlike any other plastic that you'll find in the industry.
The quality is better than any other company out there.
Again, just consistent plastic. It's something I can consistently trust on every single throw.
There's so many discs to choose from, and I guarantee if you tried every disc in the lineup, you're gonna wanna put multiple discs in your bag.
It's extremely high quality. You can only say so much, they have to eventually just try it themselves and see.
Another birdie would seal the win here. Yeah! For $35,000. Congratulations, Ricky Wysocki, your Pro Tour champion 2022.
And brings us into hole 13, another famous ace hole out here on this Wildhorse property. 375-foot par 3. You've got to carry this hazard bunker in front of the basket, and all of this is blind as you're sitting down here in this little gully.
Yeah, not just blind, but kind of immune to the wind when you're down on the tee. He was playing a pretty hard left to right as Gibson, unable to navigate that, drifts right out of bounds.
And Presnell going with the smart play here, just going to lay up and try to make for an easy 3. Still going to have that upshot over the basket. Or excuse me, over that OB sand trap.
Paul. Oh, wow.
Oh, my goodness. That's one way to do it.
Yeah, kind of just when you're thinking that momentum is stalled. And I'm given to understand this is about the time that Paul asked Jordan Castro, who was keeping scores, to check for him. And Paul said, "Oh, I need to birdie out. It's go time." And that's what he does. Is pins one of the hardest hardest holes on the course. Sure.
Yeah, why not? And Drew in a pretty precarious spot over there after going OB. Still some stuff to deal with, but able to get up inside the circle, as is Presnell.
Yeah, Drew's shot, we shouldn't overlook that. It's maybe the hardest 150 he's going to have to work with all weekend. Garrett measured perfectly for his upshot.
And Paul McBeth with one of just 4 birdies on this hole today. Zach Arlinghouse, James Proctor, and Maximus Meyer, the only other 3 players in the field able to card the 2. Dang, that was a little rude, I would say.
Yeah, that's 2 for Prezi now. He could be looking at 4 down without changing very much. And at this level, strokes count so much. Like, one stroke can be several places in the field. Hole 14, relatively open par 4, 777 feet. A lot of room to work with on the drive, although it is playing into a headwind. There's a green short by about 40, 50 feet of the basket, and the basket is perched up on a ridge. Certainly a theme out here. I imagine we're going to see full distance driver on the tee, and then a choice between distance and fairway on the second shot, trying to skip off that green.
Yeah, there's a few little trees to deal with off of the tee, but McBeth throwing over top of him right there. Not a bad play at all. He'll be out in good position.
Yeah, I think the dream distance line is probably like a couple feet below the tops of those trees as Garrett goes just over one of them. But there's no reason to bring them into play. Like, it's better to miss your distance by a little bit and have no risk of coming up short.
Oh, and this one quite low.
Stinger.
But out here in Vegas, as long as you've got the nose up, that's not going to hurt you too bad. He goes ahead and skips about 450 feet down the fairway.
Yeah, looked like some weird footing there. Not sure exactly what happened, but for Gibson, he's going to throw hard enough to make it work. Presnell stalls it a little bit. He will have the first approach into the green. Full distance driver. I like this. It's low. It's driven.
Oh,
Nathan, what are we seeing there?
Man, he comes up just an inch maybe short of making it across that green. He's going to have to go back and have an upshot now. That's not even going to turn into a putt.
And almost the same kind of thing for Paul. He goes full distance driver, gets the skip off the green, but as soon as it does and brings the nose up, all the speed taken off of it. He's going to be left from circle 2. Drew, good correction, lands it on the hill.
Garrett pulling this one out nice and wide. Almost too much power, but he's going to have a very nice circle 1 putt there.
Yeah, and note that Garrett went down to a Firebird so that he could get a full swing. This is a defining putt. Paul really needs this to stay in contention for the win. Yes!
And does it. It's go time. What a putt.
Into the
uphill.
headwind. Very little wobble. Yeah, and Garrett getting himself back into the top 10.
Yeah, making a good push. Presnell, after the OB stroke, going to be dropping another one back to even now. Going to want to get a couple birdies just to try to get himself feeling good on the way out of here.
Gibson directing traffic and gets the easy bird.
And brings us into hole 15, 439-foot par 3. If you've got the lefty backhand to pull out, I would do it. If not, gonna see some right-handed backhand fairway drivers that gonna start way out left and just drift right the whole time, or maybe some real big forehands. But one of the more difficult par 3s to reach on this course.
In the background, you can hear the wind. That definitely became more of a factor as it went on. Paul with a little extra giddy up by starting off the tee pad, goes force. And look at the coast into circle 1.
What a fantastic shot. Love watching the turnovers you can control to flatten back out and just land so softly.
Gurthie with a good read. Although this is starting a little too far left to be able to swing all the way over to the right side.
Pin high.
He's right. It's pin high, but in no man's land. Gonna probably have to lay that up.
And Drew Could hear he didn't like that out of his hand. Missed the height and maybe missed the line too, but definitely needed some more height on that to get it to move right.
I like this from Andrew, although he does clip one of the last branches. I think something interesting that Drew did was go eagle there. He may have just been trusting that he couldn't overthrow the hole with that, and perhaps with more height he would have gotten the drift to the right. Everybody else went distance driver to fight the wind.
Yeah, I think distance driver is a bit more touchy to fight this wind. As you see Garrett out here not wanting to turn it over too much, but with that big rim distance driver, if you get it turned over, it could really drag it off to the right. Kind of like you saw Presnell's moving right a little bit too fast. High level shot either way. As Presnell gonna feel like that one could have been a spit out, but a little high left for that wind that we've got going on.
Yeah, with 3 of those today, a variety of maybe his fault, maybe the baskets. You wonder what sins of his forefather he's paying for. Poor guy.
Oh man, almost another one right there. I think the tailwind kept that one in.
This looks perfect. Off the basket. Now it's rolling. It's headed for the OB. This needs to sit. Oh my goodness. It's safe. Right on the line. She's going to have about a 30-foot putt for the win. Okay, here we go. The putt is up. Boom. It's in. Strong side with authority. What an incredible moment. Yes.
Hole 16, easily one of the more difficult holes on this course. 888 feet, it's a par 4, initial gap to hit, and then lots of fairway space to work with. Relatively easy to take a 4 if you just play short of this green, but if you're going for the 3, as a couple of our players are in a position to need to, it takes 2 full shots into the headwind. Out of bounds right and long as well.
Yeah, third most difficult hole on the course today. Did average over par.
And kind of a consistent theme out of Paul's distance drives and tee shots has been that they have been very low. I'm not sure if that's a conscious choice to try to fight the headwind or fight the wind in general, but that leaves him well short.
Oh, man. That is not a good start to this long, difficult par 4.
And Garrett's actually going to end up re-teeing here after everybody else has thrown. Gibson with a very nice fairway shot. Bites off about half the distance. And nicely done by Presnell. Works it out right to left. Pretty short. I imagine that's going to be pure layup territory.
Yeah, if you don't have that elite distance, or maybe not quite elite distance, but pretty much almost there, then this is going to be a pretty hard hole to attack. Just because it is a little bit more uphill on the second shot, and you've got that OB green to carry over.
All right, well done game plan golf. And Paul, even though he is very much chasing the wind, kind of having to, be humble, take the tumbling shot and look to either throw it in or just take the easy 4.
Yeah, I don't think there was much option there for him to go for it.
Garrett's fourth. That's big. Gets him into circle one. Yes!
They felt every bit of it, Drew. Not gonna shortcut it. Through stable. Thank you.
And with that read, here's going to be Gibson throwing his second.
Yeah, what an incredible shot to try to save the bogey on this hole.
Come on, flip. Go, baby. That looks good, Drew.
Wow.
And there you go. Up there, almost inside the bullseye for a 3. On the third hardest hole on the course today, we only see 5 birdies on the day.
And you love to see the love from the card mates. Like, we can be competitors. We can also really appreciate good golf shots when they happen. Presnell with the good layup. McBeth to the zone. And the way this is thrown, it makes me think he was trying to give a little poke at it, but that hangs out a little too far left. Does curl to the basket.
Yeah, Garrett. Well done.
Yeah, very nice bogey save after a re-tee. I'm not sure many other people would have got that 5.
No, I'd have to go on to a second hand, I reckon. And Drew's going to get the privilege of the lone birdie on the card and also the last to tap in. That's pretty sick.
Yeah, just incredible upshot. Using all of the airspace. Drifting it from left to right. Going to be one of just the 5 birdies on the day. Great way to make a push. Moving into hole 17. 516-foot par 3. Another difficult hole to reach. Big decision here for these guys. A lot of the time, but with them chasing the lead, you know they're going to get aggressive and try to reach this pin. You do have OB left the entire way down. Some trees and things on the right side that can get in your way.
Gibson to that same disc. We know he's got the elite power. This is holding right pretty long and doesn't appear to fight back to the left. That could be an outside look at a putt, though. And at this point, it's kind of a 4-horse race. Looks like Heimberg and Jones have the slight advantage of being a hole behind. They can see what our card is doing.
Oh. And seems he got a little bit of help slowing down right there.
Yeah, there's been a number of instances of animals being involved in tournament outcomes. This is just the most recent, I guess. Unfortunately, that leaves McBeth pretty short.
Garrett with the big arm has an opportunity to bounce back from that bogey he just took and gets a good drive off. He's going to be right around circle's edge.
And I really can't overstate how amazing that is. Good look by McBeth. Wow, still running it from so far. I can't overstate how awesome it is to see Gurthie do that. Like, of all the elite distance throwers out there, it still is a 1 in 10, 1 in 20 to be able to put together the power, the spin, the speed, the angles.
Yeah, he threw that disc 500 feet straight. There wasn't any type of hyzer flex or any type of that. It was just a straight shot 500 feet. Unfortunately, not able to capitalize on the birdie, but nonetheless, a great drive.
Presnell kind of watches it the whole way in. No funny business here on 17.
Yeah, which is the 4th most difficult hole on the course. Before we move into 18, the 2nd most difficult hole on the course. So the last 3 holes are in the top 4 in difficulty.
Yeah, absolutely a punishing stretch. Hole 18, it's a par 4, pretty iconic green. You got a choice to make off the tee. You can either play to a flat area with a lake on the right, or you can try to clear that lake on the first to make your second shot a little more manageable. Out of bounds to the right, long and left, as well as this green short. And there's going to be a pretty severe headwind and left to right crosswind to deal with off of the tee. Gibson does need this, knowing that Jones and Heimberg are a little ahead.
Oh no, and deciding not to go for the big shot across that cart path, ends up throwing the layup too far and goes out of bounds.
McBeth, same kind of idea, and an equally poor reaction. Both of them playing conservative shots that don't work out. That hurts.
And I am very surprised at those conservative shots. I know it is a headwind, but that hasn't been the play for a couple years now. You see everybody really trying to go over top. I'm not sure what Presnell was trying to do right there. It looked like he threw hard to go for it. No. No.
And amazingly, all 4 of our card going to be throwing 3 from the short side. Presnell attacking with a low distance driver, drifting to the right.
Oh, get some love.
And yikes.
May have crossed up there at some point, but not quite what you're looking for.
Gurthie back to that Firebird. And up in circle 2. That's a very good recovery shot. Gives him the chance at the par to finish.
It is a very scary par, though. That's when he's got to decide whether it's worth it to run or not. That's when you might be looking at your phone, seeing how much money that putt's worth.
And McBeth surprised not to get the same left to right push as on the tee shot. Ends up curling onto the green.
This is going too straight.
Wow.
Oh, it just stays in bounds. I don't know that I've ever really seen anybody over there.
No, and rarely in 2, if that. Gibson has really shown like why he won this tournament last year, but also like that he is one of the elite throwers in the game.
McBeth almost able to cash it from down there, but not quite. Garrett maybe gave that a run, but making sure he doesn't hit and roll away at the same time.
And Drew with the attempt to save ends up going out of bounds. He's going to card the double bogey 6 to finish. Still a really good showing out of Drew. We're proud of him. He shoots a 9 down to all you can ask for on the final day is to put yourself in contention.
And he did that. He gave himself a chance up until the end. Paul McBeth shooting a pretty good round as well. Or I say pretty good. But it's a great round. You know, we all know Paul plays great.
Yeah, absolutely. So you see Drew getting that 4th place finish, Paul in solo 6th, Gurthie and Presnell, really good starts to their season. Presnell told me he was dealing with nerves a little bit, but hey, that's part of the early season. We're kind of working our way into shape, and nobody cares what you do in February if you show up great at Worlds in September. Nathan, thank you so much for joining me. And please make sure to like, share, subscribe, and help support Gatekeeper Media's continued coverage of the MPO Chase Card all season.
Yeah, and big shout out to Calvin Heimberg taking down the first Elite Series event of the year, the Las Vegas Challenge. For Andrew Fish, I am Nathan Queen, and we will see you guys out there.